Hello, M&M listeners.
Oh, did you never say we're starting? Oh, hello.
We are starting.
Hello, listeners.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. And here we are with our great guest, lovely Evelyn and Marzi. Marzi's not the guest.
But she's lovely.
Hello, everyone.
Good to have you here, and thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. We're so excited to have her here, and we want to talk about her life and her job and her, life journey, because I bet you come a long way.
Yes, there's a lot of transitions and different places and a lot of growth, a lot of changes, and yeah, a lot of stories.
Nice.
I did let you to say hi.
I did.
Did you? I didn't hear that.
I always sneak in my hand somewhere.
Okay, Evelyn, start from wherever you can remember yourself, where you see and where you remember Evelyn.
So once upon a time, I'll start from the very beginning. I was born in Taiwan, so and I have three other siblings. So I'm the second oldest. I have a sister, an older sister, and then my brother, and then my youngest sister. So our family, I lived in Taiwan till I was about 7, and then our whole family moved to Guam because my dad wanted us to have more opportunities. So that's the place where we learned how to speak English in Guam. And then I lived there till I was 16. So I went to high school there, and then on a small island of Guam. And we continued to learn Chinese in Guam, which I didn't really want to, but it's because it's like another school, right? It's like learning English, and then I have to continue learning Chinese. But now I can say I'm glad that I did. At that time, of course, when we were younger, it's wanted to play more than going to school. So when I was 16, our whole family moved to California, came to California, because my older sister went to college, and there was only one college in Guam, the University of Guam. So this way, she has more opportunity at different schools. So she ended up going to University of Irvine. So our whole family moved to Irvine in '83. So I finished high school in Irvine. So after school, I've always liked to just start working, because that's, to me,
Passionate
that's,
for work.
yeah, to me that's where you gain experience. Sure, you learn things at school, but it's such a different type of knowledge and experiences. So I started working at Del Taco when I was 16.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was down the street. So then after that, after I graduated from high school, I worked at Nordstrom, their credit department. So it was kind of nice to learn other things other than fast food. So even though it was great to get free food right, at that time. So after working at Nordstrom, I did go to college for a couple of years. It just did not resonate with me. So I moved out when I was 19. So I just started doing many different things like the young adults would do. I was going to different places to party, to dance, and just different places to experience different workplaces. And then I ended up moving to Ventura County. So it was a boyfriend, a past boyfriend of mine. His father was living in Port Wainini. So I moved up here with him, and such a new place compared to Orange County, and and I moved from Orange County to LA, just different places all the way up to Ventura County. So, and this is where I just stayed here, became a staple here because I was moving a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess at that time I was just exploring, like where do I want to be, where do I want to go, and this is where I ended up staying. So I stayed here. When did I move here? It's like in '87, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, '87 or '88, and then I worked here and lived here with my ex-boyfriend then, the boyfriend then, and around in the mid '90s, I was without a job, and I thought, okay, what am I gonna do? So my mom said, since you're not working, why don't you go to GIA, which is the Gemological Institute of America, and that's a place where you learn how to grade diamonds and
Wow, that's
we
interesting.
learn about gemstones, right? So I thought, well, why not? I'm not really working, I'm not doing anything. So I moved back down to LA, and I actually was living in Glendale. And so I went to school there for a year. So I learned how to grade stones and
Ooh,
identify
look
stones.
at you.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah, and then making jewelry, and it was very fun, and also just meeting so many different many people from various areas of the country, because that was the hub where a lot of people. I mean, there's people that went there, their family's already in the jewelry business, right? So they think their kids there to learn more stuff about gems. So it was really nice to meet so many different people from different countries. So I was there for a year, and after that, then I ended up moving to Hawaii.
Wow.
I was there for like probably 4 months, because a boyfriend of mine wanted to move there, and I said, all right, because to me, living in Guam, almost 10 years, an island's an island. But, so we went, and it was fun, it was nice. We lived in Oahu, that's the island we stayed at. And after 4 months, I thought, okay, it's time to go, I'm already done. So I moved back here to California, and then worked at I worked at downtown LA for a couple of years in the jewelry industry. So that was really nice, especially going to the jewelry shows, looking at these beautiful gemstones, right? So that was really nice, and after 2 years I thought, okay, I'm done with this too, It was just exploring the different places, so I ended up coming back to Ventura, and then landed a job that actually makes electromechanical switches for satellites and missiles and stuff like that. And at first I thought, why am I going into this industry? But to me, I guess it doesn't really matter what product that they're doing. It's just a job is a job, and the admin job. And my background is in customer service. So I was in customer service, and then I moved to sales management. So I was at this company for 8 years. So, and at that time, I was able to travel. So I was traveling to China and Taiwan, because that was my territory. So it was really nice for me to travel to Taiwan, on the company's dime, and then I can visit my family in Taiwan. So that was, a nice perk. So I was there for about 8 years, and after 8 years, I left again. And then I went to another job that's also, they sell furnishings, for home improvements, and I was there for a couple of years. So, and during that, right after that, I was laid off, and and then my father was, he's passed away. This was like 13 years ago. So he passed away 13 years ago, but before that, he was dealing with cancer, liver cancer. So every year we would go home and visit our family in Taiwan and see him. And so around that time when he passed away, I lost my job again. So at that time I just thought,
Devastated.
what am I going to do, and it was with my relationship also with my father wasn't very, very close. So when he passed away, I I just said to myself, I didn't want to have the same type of relationship with my mother. And so I decided to work on myself, to mend the relationship. And of course, when I was younger, it's all her fault, right? It's always her. It's not me. So now that I learned, I did go through working on myself with hypnotherapy and coaching, and with my mentor. So for about over a year, I really committed myself to do that work. And now my mom and I are just, the relationship is just, a completely 180. It's just really, really
Turn around.
turn around.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And
Technically, hypnotherapy helped you to build up your relationship with your mom.
yeah, it's just changing my limiting beliefs about what I thought about her and the situation, and really just owning my own stuff, because it took both of us to tango, right? So there's a part of her, she was in the problem, but I'm part of the problem as well. So it's really about recognizing and accepting that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because that's the hardest part for most people is, what do you mean I'm part of it? I mean, she did all this and I was just being a kid, per se, right? So, so it really was very profound work that I did that. So the reason, and I went to hypnotherapy school, because my fiance, at that time, he wasn't really working. He was, so he said, hey, he found the hypnotherapy school. He goes, why don't we just go and check it out? And what's interesting, I said, because I used to watch, hypnosis shows, right? Mm-hmm. Like they do all these tricks up there. And in my mindset was, my God, if that person can make the other person do that, I wonder if he can make me change my belief about my relationship. I mean, that's my whole mindset,
Yeah.
So if someone can do that, oh my God. But it's not really magic. Of course, the show is a show, right? It's for entertainment, because the work it's tough in the beginning, but as you continue to do it, you start reaping the rewards of what a relief, I'm releasing a lot for me. Mm-hmm. So as I was working towards just building the relationship, there's ups and downs. And, but I took the opportunity, when we went to school, because I thought, well, I'm learning this tool to help others. Of course, I would need to help myself first. And I'm already in school, so I might as well take advantage of it. So it really, really helped me. And the first time that I never, in the past, I just couldn't stand being on the phone with my mom. It's like within 5 minutes, there's going to be an argument.
Oh.
Well, you said this and I did this and all that, right? Typical disagreements. And so when it was more like a test. I knew she was coming to visit because she still lives in Taiwan. So she comes and visit. Aww. And my sister lives in San Francisco. So I went to visit her, and my mom was there. And I thought, well, this is going to be the big test. I'm going to see what happens. And it was so interesting that I was just, in a way, observing the situation, even though I was in it. And just was able to not be in the moment so much, And I was able to observe myself. And then I spent a whole day on the bus with her.
No.
I mean, the whole day.
And no argument.
No argument. I mean, she was telling me the same story like 3-4 times, but I was still just, enjoying
That's
it was
good.
just the awe of the moment that
She
oh my
didn't
God.
change. You changed
Exactly.
yourself.
Yeah.
And just changed everything.
Yeah. So it really, when that really happened, it actually, like what you just said, I changed, and it just trickled to her. And then the whole family dynamic kind of changed, because it just takes one person,
Exactly.
to take that responsibility. And that wasn't my intent. My intent was just to build my relationship or mend the relationship between me and my mom. But instead, it, was a bigger reward because now, my brother, when I call my mom, sometimes every week or every other week, and we'll have a video call, and my brother would be on the call and we'll be talking.
Good.
So it's very different than how it was before. So I really, with all that, the credit of the work that I did, the techniques and the method that I did
That's
is really,
amazing.
yeah.
I know, Marzi, you want to ask question because
Um,
I know that it's burning.
no,
No?
no, no. I was
You
just,
don't want to
yeah.
just stop?
No, yeah, I was no. It's this is amazing. Yeah, it's the reflection and that's exactly what's
Life.
happening with all of it. Yeah, in life we're all responsible for how we react to everything that's around us. So that's what that's my motto as well. Because we cannot control how other people think or act or react or talk, but we can only control how we react to it. So
Exactly.
life just happens around us, and all that matters is how we react to it. And yeah, as soon as we change our view and kind of sometimes something needs to just switch, or we just need to maybe put ourselves in their shoes, or just see where all of this is coming from. It really changes everything, because all of these disagreements and bickerings and arguings between family members, between friends, partners, it can really be resolved easily with just trying to understand and just listen and be more understanding. And it's beautiful. I'm so glad that you're getting there, because I'm sorry that you didn't get to do that with your dad.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful to see that you created that new relationship with mom, and it's amazing. Yeah, it creates peace in the whole dynamic of the family. So, and I can see that, and I haven't met you. This is the first time we meet, so I don't know how you were feeling before all this happened, but I can see that inner peace. You're calm, you're in peace with yourself, and that's beautiful, and really changes the quality of life.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's not, you're not in it, you're observing it. Even though you're physically in the situation, yet you're able to step out and see, okay, a different perspective. Like you were just saying, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Because if you have all those beliefs about someone, you won't be able to do that.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's in your way. So as soon as you let that go and replace with the beliefs that benefit you, then I'm able to see, wow, yeah, I am part of this. Oh my God. I mean, that was a shocker, even though it's the truth. But so that's really the change work, that we do. So after finishing, right before we finished the hypnotherapy school, the director of that school asked us, me and my partner, to teach there. So we taught there for a year, and then we decided to venture out and do our own training. So that's what
That's
I've been
amazing.
doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, because I know Marianne was gonna say something about what you were saying, and then I want to ask about the hypnotherapy career. Are you okay?
Yes, yeah, I was. I think I got a little bit emotional. It's so interesting that she went years of life. She explained, Evelyn explained about her life year by year after years. And then I think the stopping point where she was able to communicate and connect with her mom. Am I right? It seems like this is your the biggest achievement
for
of your
sure.
life.
For sure.
Beside the job, because you changed a lot. And my question was here, what was your finishing point that you were leaving the job? When you were feeling like, I'm done with this?
Oh, all the jobs.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's more drama than anything else. You know, it's I mean, if you want to go to specifics, I mean, you know, I mean, it's one job is the in LA, and it was my boss who hired me for a specific position. I was supposed to be assisting her. She's the president of the company. And then when I got hired, I became another position. And I thought, okay, whatever, you know, I have two jobs. But it was the drama, you know, the personality. It's not, you know, a lot of times it is said that in a workplace, you know, 30% is the actual job, right?
Correct.
70% is the drama.
Exactly. The relationships between all
Right.
people.
So that's what happened, and I you know, I
Push
gotta
you
go.
away.
Yeah, it wasn't, to me, what she did, you know, it was just very unethical. And I thought, you know, why am I here to deal with this? And I'm here to do a job. You know, I know people, we get sucked into some type of drama regardless, because we spend so many time, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day.
Correct.
So that's like half of your life there. So these people that work with you becomes almost like, quote unquote,
Your family, yeah.
you know. So then you start talking to each other as if you're at home sometimes, and people forget about that. So most of my job, what I love, is because of that. I'm just done with the drama, you know. And the last job that I was laid off at, it was just because of, well, because of business, you know, but the revenue, and also part of drama too.
Yeah, it's like,
So-
you know, because I think you like the work in jewelry, right? The way that you explained it, it is very exciting job.
Yeah.
That's a very rewarding job, and you have to have a lot of knowledge, and then as you go forward, you learn more and more about the stones and minerals that it's in your hand, and then the most valuable things, like a thing
Yeah.
in your hand, but you left it because of the job drama.
Yeah.
See, it's like, I think most of us, we leave, even we love the way that we are doing our job and we put our heart in it, but because of somebody else's and the atmosphere is not healthy, then we have to leave and just say goodbye to what we love.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the hard part.
It is. It is. I mean, I really enjoyed the jewelry industry, but it was very, very tough to get in too. You know, because especially I didn't come from a jewelry business family. You know, and in the jewelry business is, I mean, not just that business, but to me, my experience was they're so close. The connections is, they know this person, that person. So if you're not in that connection, it's a lot tougher to get a job.
I bet. I don't know anything about this industry. I know minerals and jewelry a little bit because it was my first major. But and Evelyn, I know you said you guys jump into the hypnotherapy by accident. Kind of.
Sort of,
You were
yeah.
not planning. It just happened.
Right.
And then both of you and your fiance, you guys started. And then both of you liked it. And you're continuing right now as a, you know, your profession, right?
Right. Right.
And do you think this is it? This is going to be something that you're going to stick with it?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is it. I mean, this is a, you know, when we tell our students, this is a lifetime skill. You know, even if someone decides to do something else, but the skills that I learn, you can pick it up and you know, do something with it. And I'm sticking with it because I see so much change in people. You know, especially even if they're in class, our classes, we make it so that the students are experiencing shifts during the class, so they know what their client's going to be going through.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, so yeah.
So you do both hypnotherapy and you teach hypnotherapy as well. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I mean, hypnosis, I know that's a subject where, and you see it on TV, right? The shows, and also there's a lot of movies about it. So there's a lot of myths about what hypnosis is, because when people look at, especially Hollywood movies and stage shows, is they're afraid to lose control. That person's making me do this, and they don't even know I don't even know what I'm doing. And it's actually, it's the opposite. Hypnosis actually put the control back into you. So when you see the stage shows, you're not going to see the beginning of the show where they are going through some process to make sure if someone is following instructions. If you're not following instructions, it's not going to happen. So which means you're resisting and you're fighting it, right? But if you see these shows, most of the time they're at clubs. There's always alcohol involved, right? So they're already in that state.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people are on stage, they would want to be on stage anyway.
Yeah.
Most people, there's some extroverts, right, out there that's like, look at me. So there's a process of them weeing people out because of course they want to have a successful show. So if I ask you to sit down and close your eyes and take a deep breath, and if you said no, then I'm not going to be working with you.
Then technically it's just you cannot hypnotize anyone that they don't want it.
Correct.
It's not like I'm sitting here and you start hypnotize
Right.
me, hypnotize
With
me.
the little touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the Hollywood, and I'm sure in the 50s and maybe they do tricks like that. I mean, there are still people that can utilize that because hypnosis it's just focused awareness. So if you think about when you're watching a movie, sometimes when you're watching a movie or TV show, right, and if someone's calling your name and you didn't hear it, but then they come and say, "Didn't you hear me? I've been calling you." Oh well, I've been watching this because your focus is right there on the screen. So we like to say the screen is the biggest hypnotist because when you're zoned in, there's many words for a trance, a zone. Zone would be used in sports. When people are focused on doing any kind of sports, they are hypnotizing themselves in that state. So they're very, very focused on what they're doing. So hypnosis is a very natural state. We go into it every 90 minutes. There's a state where we're just kind of going, you're in a little daze,
Every 90 minutes?
Every 90 minutes. And that's why breaks are, when you go to work, a breaks is like every 90 minutes. 90 minutes to
That's why you should take a break every 90 minutes.
yeah, step
That's-
away. Yeah.
Huh.
Because then you get zoned in. I'm sure like in a lot of students, and I've done this before, when you're studying late at night and all of a sudden you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're zoning in this and all of a sudden just like, because your mind just gets there at a certain point and it's like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. And then it's like, well, let's just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? So hypnosis, we actually hypnotize ourselves every night. Naturally. That state when you're about to fall asleep and you're just kind of really groggy and can't really open your eyes, that's hypnosis. And then you fall asleep, right, to unconsciously. So we have that natural ability to put ourselves in a trance. So what we say in hypnosis is, I'm not hypnotizing anyone. They're hypnotizing themselves. I'm just guiding them, to that state.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So hypnosis is everywhere. Like I said, it's TV, movies. When you're listening to music,
You are already
you're
hypnotized.
in it, right? You go to a concert. What do? You're hypnotized by whoever that's on stage.
Whatever you actually
Right.
focus on.
Yeah.
How much does it actually, if somebody's willing to be hypnotized, how much of an effect can you have? Because I've heard a few people that they actually quit smoking after
Mm-hmm.
hypnosis, right? Or similar changes. How much of an effect can it actually like up to what point can you make those changes? Can you actually like help someone to quit something right away or?
Yeah, I mean, they can quit, and I wouldn't say right away,
Yeah.
you know, but there's a process. Now, there's a very small percentage of people that can go to a group. You know, there's years ago. They're still going on group sessions for quit smoking.
Uh-huh.
There probably a room full of 50 people, and you have a hypnotist and giving them suggestions, and some people will quit for good.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Oh, even in a group.
yeah, but then it depends on the person. Now there's people, you know, which I work with people, clients before, where, oh, you know, I went to this group thing and I quit for 15 years, and now I'm back smoking again for, you know, for the past 10 years I'm smoking again. So what's going on? Did it not work? Well, it did work to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But then we have to figure out what was going on at that time in
Yeah.
your life that you pick it up again.
Yeah, what was the trigger that
Right.
kind of, yeah.
Right.
That's amazing though. Like, does it take, this is a very like funny question, but does it take one session for somebody to quit smoking through hypnosis or?
It could.
Oh, wow.
It could take one session. Sometimes it takes 8 months. Sometimes it takes longer.
For you, it's better to take longer.
Well, not really. I mean, you know, because it depends on the person, right? And it depends on how much of things that's in the way.
They put effort
Yeah.
and they cooperate.
Right, right. And how much, yeah, exactly. How committed they are, you know, to quit or to let go and overcome whatever challenge.
What are the easiest thing that you can cure or fix with hypnotherapy?
Well, we don't cure or fix because we're not a licensed.
Okay, correct
yeah.
me. Oh, sorry.
So
Okay.
we don't want to say that word because we're not medical doctors.
Okay.
Or anything, you know, so we're not
Positively
curing.
affect?
Right. Yeah, affecting someone. Well, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say these are a quicker fix than going to traditional therapy, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, but the quick, it really depends on someone. I mean, somebody I worked with years ago, he quit smoking after one session.
Oh, wow.
Then I have few clients at 8 months or maybe, 12 months, because what happens is when you're talking about certain behavior, there may be something else that, that promotes that behavior. It's not just the behavior itself. So if someone is just, for example, the client I had years ago, it was really funny because he didn't really quite believe it, right? So I was
He
talking
just
to him
came
and
to
stuff.
see what's going
I know,
on.
it's like, what is this, right? And then what I was doing was just using a lot of different ways to talk to him, different language and things. So, and what I found out by talking to him, he was very competitive. And so
There you are.
when he was very competitive, so I utilized that, the competitiveness, and using that as an example, and said, and because he shared with me that he was like very competitive when he was swimming with his 10-year-old son.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay. And I said, okay. So then I utilized that. Would you want your son to beat you at everything? So that could work because, this is what the coaching part it is for me to really observe and listen beyond what they're saying and utilize that to help them to stop doing whatever they're doing and replace it with something else. So when we work with clients, it's not about taking something away. We're always replacing it with something. So if he's quitting smoking, he quit smoking, so I replace it with water. So each time you think of having a smoke, you're picking up a glass of water or a bottle of water.
Nice.
So it's replacing something that the person wants, and then while they're in hypnosis, when the person is very, very relaxed, right? Because hypnosis, you're about to fall asleep. So your mind and body is very, very relaxed. And that's when I can go in and give him positive suggestions for replacement.
That is amazing.
Very
Well, I
interesting.
should come to you. Can we replace chocolate with water?
Yes, of course.
And hot Cheetos?
Yeah.
What about sleep problem?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things that you can fix it too, right?
Yeah. It's replacing something, because with sleep, we all know the reason why we're not sleeping is there's all these thoughts, all these concerns and worries going through your mind. What did I do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? What if this? What if that? What if this? Right? And it depends on what's going on in your life. Sometimes. But with hypnosis is helping you remember there was time that you had really good night's sleep. Right? So the deeper part of you, which is your subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, remembers many things that you've done. So it's to invoke that memory and then helping the unconscious mind, to remember this is the time that you were able to fall asleep, and to tie into that to the present moment. And of course, we'll be working more about, well, what's the concern? What is the worry? Is that really real worries? Because a lot of times we live in our mind, right? So when the thought's there, you believe the thought is real. But things are not happening right now. So the biggest thing for hypnotherapy and coaching is it's also teaching someone to be present. So when I work with clients or even kids with high anxiety and stress, it's when they are feeling that feeling of anxiety coming on. First of all, is to recognize that's coming up. Because if you don't recognize it, it's already hit the ceiling, and then you're going to react, right? So it is noticing, oh, something's coming up now. And then also when you recognize, it's like, okay, do I want to entertain this, or is it really real? Is it really happening right now? So many times I will have them, just touch themselves. It's like you're here. But whatever that's going on in your mind is not happening right now. Right now, you are here in your room. But the mind will play tricks on you. And then if you allow the mind to take you, you're going to be everywhere. So it is about present moment. It's about the full awareness of what is really going on inside you, not the outside.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah.
Then technically, you are aware all the time yourself too, because you know what is the technique and you use it for yourself as well. Was there any time that you forget that,
Oh,
just
yeah.
you have to remind yourself?
Right. Well, I'm human, so, I mean, it's funny, our students would ask me and Jack, my fiance, God, you guys know so much. So I figure you just don't fight, and we just look at each other going, really? No, we're still human, I mean, we got tools, but sometimes you still react because there's certain anchors that you get triggered, it's like, oh, that's that look, what did you say that for? One of those things, but we won't get to the point where it escalates. I mean, one of us have to be present. He's hear what he says, I say what I say, but after that, it's like, okay, is it really that bad? So we have the tools to, if we don't catch it at that moment, then we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it doesn't go really haywire.
I think then all of the couples, they should learn
They should.
this.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Every single person. Just because all of your relationships, all of everything with coworkers, with strangers out on the street, right? If people are aware of all of this, they wouldn't do as much road rage as they're driving, right?
Right.
When you're waiting in line in the grocery store, you wouldn't lose everything because you feel like you're late and two people are ahead of you. Every single thing. These are the tools that we all need all the time.
When your mom is talking, when your sister is talking, when your brother is talking, when your coworker is just saying that, it just make you irritated, uncomfortable. That's the time that you just remind yourself that just calm it down.
Right.
And probably, I don't know what else.
Well,
Like,
yeah, because sometimes you can even play tricks on yourself, right? Because sometimes you talk yourself out of certain things just to get out of whatever that you're feeling, right? So we all have the ability to do that. So you're just using your own natural ability, but you're using it in a way that benefit you, for the long term, right? So this is all about practice, because a lot of our behaviors is repeated. You've been practicing a certain, smoking, for example. If someone's been smoking they've been practicing that. They have mastered that behavior of smoking,
the same as sleeping, right? When you
Right.
don't sleep, you let your body to get this habit
Yeah.
of not sleeping.
Right.
And
right.
then you have to retrain it back to sleep.
Right. And then also retraining your mind, because if you don't sleep, if you think of it, it's you got thoughts and they keep piling up.
They get heavy.
Yeah. And then there's no room for others. So if you don't sleep, it just stays there. And the sleep actually in hypnotherapy terms, it's like you're venting out the thoughts. You're venting out things so that you can gain more information, because it's almost like you're so loaded. And that's why there are people that's so anxious and stressed throughout the day, because they can't relax, and so when you're fully relaxed, that's when magic happens. Think about it. When you're in the shower, there's many times ideas come up in the shower, right?
Yeah.
Because you're relaxed. You're focused on taking a shower. And that feeling, that sensation is putting you in that present moment, and that's when the ideas comes up.
Then how now it just came to my mind, how meditations and hypnotherapy, it seems they're crossing, right?
Yeah.
Is it-
Yeah. It's very similar, and meditation is more about connection to, if you're practicing spirituality, or if you believe in certain religion, it's more about your connection to the higher being, outside of you, right? And for meditation too, a lot of people think that meditation, I'll just go take a meditation workshop, and then I'm supposed to be Zen, right? And there's no thoughts, and I'll be good. But what happens is, once you get into that state, you're sitting quietly. What your unconscious mind or the subconscious mind will do is like, oh, okay, well, something's gonna come up. You're going to face it. Then you start noticing, oh, I did something that wasn't really quite right, or and then you'll be like, oh, I don't like to do this, because now it's showing me stuff. And that's what meditation is. It's not going to happen all the time, but that's what happens, is it's showing you things about yourself. And then also meditation it's not about not having any thoughts at all. There's no way you can have. Maybe sometimes you'll have split seconds of nothing there, but majority of the time there's some thoughts floating around, but it's for you to observe the thoughts and not to have the thoughts take over. So you're just saying, oh, there's a thought, let it go. Oh, it's practicing that. And for hypnosis, the sensation's the same, because you're in a very nice deep relaxation. But for hypnosis there's a specific goal, such as quit smoking, weight loss, insomnia, anxiety. So you are receiving positive suggestions to replace what no longer serves you. So there's somebody there like me. I will guide you through it, with the suggestions. And the suggestions are the words from my clients. what they want, you know, and then I'll add something else in there that will promote what they want. But a lot of times it's really about that person. It's not about the hypnotherapist.
Wow, that's very interesting. I want to tell you, our listeners, we're going to have section 2 as well, because this discussion needs to stretch out. I have a lot of questions right now. Probably in 5 minutes, we're going to cut it off for section 1, and then we will stop it. We're going to have a little bit chat. You won't hear it.
Yeah, and then we're
And
gonna go
probably
for a
warm up
second
your tea.
episode.
Evelyn's tea is cold already. And then we'll come back. But go ahead, you ask questions.
No,
because
I'm good. Maybe this is a good stopping point. If
Okay,
you wanna-
then
yeah.
then I'm gonna stop here,
So
and
this
then
is the first episode.
Yes, episode Evelyn 1, and then don't forget to come back and listen to our second session, Evelyn, which is gonna be 17A or 17B. Okay.